Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into the hidden world of courtesans under Empress Zetian, where every perfumed smile in Chang'an's fog hides a blade-sharp secret. Did you know that in 690 AD, 1 in 10 women in this capital city walk the streets as prostitutes, their poetry doubling as coded espionage for or against the Empress? Picture yourself weaving through those neon-lit alleys, where a single pippa note could spark a scandal or topple a dynasty. What would you whisper to survive in a world where words could kill? This bedtime history isn't just a lullaby, it teases a twist where a courtesan's song might unmask Wu's darkest secret. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is where you are. I love seeing how far this sleepy little time machine reaches. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You're in Chang'an, 690 AD, where the Tang Dynasty's capital thrums under a sky heavy with incense and ambition. Empress Zetian, China's only female ruler, sits on her jade throne, preaching women's power while courtesans dodge her shadow in the streets below. Your boots slip on slick cobbles, the air thick with jasmine and sour bijou, clogging your throat like a velvet noose. Lanterns cast golden halos on silk robes, but the alleys beyond are dark as secrets, their doorways swallowing whispers. You spot a woman Lian. Let's call her leaning against a tea house, her peeper cradled like a weapon. Her fingers pluck a note that hums with danger, a sound that could charm a lord or signal a spy. They say some courtesans wove steel threads into their lute strings, turning music into murder when coins ran dry an absurd trick, like Uber drivers moonlighting as vigilantes in today's gig economy. Your pulse quickens. Half from the bitter bijou stench wafting from a vendor's cart, half from the weight of unseen eyes, merchants haggling, guards smirking, or maybe someone worse. Lian's gaze catches yours, sharp as a hairpin, her fan snapping shut like a coded warning. The palace looms in the distance, its tiles glinting like a forbidden star, promising glory but delivering judgment. You shift, cheap silk itching against your skin, and feel the city's pulse, a rhythm of survival and scandal. Lian's peeper note lingers, a recurring whisper in the fog, teasing secrets you're not yet privy to. You pass a market stall, its silks shimmering like promises, but the vendor's grin hides a ledger of debts. A modern parallel hits these women, like Depression-era seamstresses, stitched resilience into every bargain. Their lives a gamble for tomorrow's rice. The air grows heavier, incense mixing with sweat, making your stomach churn as if you've swallowed the city's guilt. You pause by a riverbank, where lanterns float like lost dreams, their reflections trembling on black water. A courtesan's laugh cuts through, brittle but defiant, echoing the irony of Wu's reign freedom preached, yet chains worn in silence. You wonder what Lian's next note will signal a client, a conspiracy, or something that could shake the Empress's throne. The cobbles vibrate underfoot, each step pulling you deeper into a world where every smile is a contract, every song a risk. You clutch your coat, the chill of Chang'an's secrets seeping through, and brace for what this hidden world will demand of you tonight. You push deeper into Chang'an's twilight, the peeper note from Lian's lute still humming in your ears, a ghostly thread weaving through the fog. The cobbles grow slicker, each step a gamble against the mud that clings like a creditor's grudge. The air bites with bijou's sharp tang, mixed with the sour rot of spilled rice wine from a cart overturned in the street, a physical chaos that mirrors the city's hidden tensions. You sidestep the wreckage, your boots squelching, and catch the vendor's curse as he salvages what's left. His glare pins you, as if you're to blame for this Tang Dynasty mess, and you feel a twist of discomfort, like a splinter under your skin. The market stalls ahead shimmer with silks, their colours bleeding into the mist, but the torchlights flicker like dying stars, casting filth into sharp relief piles of rotting lotus petals and fish bones clogging the gutters. It's a city of beauty and decay, much like the Great Depression breadlines, where hope and hunger stood shoulder to shoulder. You wonder what would you trade a song, a secret to keep your belly full tonight. The crowd thickens, elbows jabbing as merchants hawk jade pins and vendors sling bowls of steaming noodles. You spot a girl, barely 16, her face painted with lead-white paste that glows sickly under a lantern. She's new to the trade, her trembling hands clutching a fan that snaps open and shut, a nervous tick more than a signal. Her story whispers through the market sold by her family during last year's famine, a casualty of drought that drove thousands to Chang'an's streets. Historical records note that by 690 AD, famines pushed 1 in 5 rural girls into prostitution, a stark number that fueled Empress Wu's myth of empowerment, while chaining women to survival's edge. Yet, some courtesans, they say, mimicked foreign accents Persian, Sogdian to charm higher fees, a hustle as bold as any Depression-era con artists. You smirk at the irony Wu's reign promised women a voice, but this girl's accent is her only shield against starvation. Your throat tightens, the bijous burn lingering like a bad promise, and you wonder if her painted smile hides a poem or a plea. A debate simmers in the air, as thick as the fog. Did Wu's rule liberate women, or did her reforms merely gild their cages? Scholars still argue whether her court, glittering with female poets, masked the exploitation of those below. You pass a tea house where a peeper's mournful note drifts, echoing Leon's earlier tune, a recurring signal of secrets shared in shadow. Inside, courtesans barter rice for whispered favors, their fans fluttering like moths, each snap a code for survival. The torchlight outside dances on a silk banner, its crimson threads fraying like the lives it advertises. You pause, your fingers brushing the rough hemp of your coat, the fabric itching worse than before, as if Chang'an's despair seeps into your bones. A vendor offers you a cup of baijiu, his grin crooked as the alley. Drink to forget the filth, he says, but the liquor's bite only sharpens your unease. You're caught in this city's pulse, where every deal feels like a trap. Tell me, what time's it ticking where you're at? Does it feel like Chang'an's clock, counting down to the next hard bargain? The river nearby glints, its lanterns bobbing like lost souls, their reflections warping in the oily water. A group of courtesans huddle by a stall, their laughter brittle, masking the fear of raids that sweep these streets. One adjusts her hairpin, its glint hinting at a hidden blade, a tidbit absurd yet chilling. Like gig workers stashing knives in modern cities. Your heart thuds, the fog's weight pressing your chest, and you realize you're not just a passerby, you're tangled in this world's web, where every step risks a misstep. The palace's jade glow taunts from afar, a reminder of Wu's power, untouchable yet crushing. You move on, the peeper's note fading but never gone, pulling you toward a truth you're not sure you want to face. You slip away from the market's chaos. The overturned cart's sour baijiu stench fading, but the peeper's haunting note from Lian's lute trails you like a shadow. The alley narrows, cobbles giving way to uneven stone, slick with river mist that clings to your boots like a whispered debt. The air grows heavier, thick with incense and the metallic tang of fear, as if Chang'an itself breathes unease. You spot Lian again, her silhouette sharp against a tea house's dim glow, her ink-stained fingers clutching a scroll. She's no ordinary courtesan once a palace maid, now a poet weaving secrets into verse, her words as dangerous as the hairpin glinting in her braid. They say some courtesans hid coded messages in their poems, each line a potential death sentence if read by the wrong eyes, a shocking truth, like whistleblowers today risking all to expose corporate lies. Your chest tightens, the silk of your coat scraping like sandpaper, and you feel the city's pulse quicken, as if it knows you're peering into its hidden veins. Lian's eyes meet yours, sharp and searching, her fan flicking once a signal, but for whom the torchlight mutates, its golden flicker now a sickly yellow, painting her face ghostly under the lead-white paste that poisons her skin. Scholars still debate whether these women were spies or victims. Their poetry a tool for Wu Zetian's court or a cry against it. The uncertainty hangs like the fog, curling around a lantern that swings like a pendulum, its light barely piercing the alley's filth fish scales and lotus stems rotting in puddles. You pause, your breath catching on the incense's cloying sweetness, a sensory trap that makes your head spin. It's like the irony of Wu's reign, a female empress preaching power while girls like Lian paint their faces to death. Their beauty a slow suicide, not unlike Depression-era workers inhaling factory dust for a paycheck. You smirk at the absurdity, but the chill in your bones deepens, a psychological shiver as you realize Lian's scroll might hold more than poetry. It could unmask a secret tied to Wu herself. A sudden shout echoes, a constable's boots clacking nearby, and Lian slips into the tea house, her pippa note lingering like a warning. You follow, heart thudding, the door creaking like a coffin lid. Inside, the air is thick with tea steam and whispers, courtesans huddled over chipped cups, their fans snapping in coded rhythm. One girl, her eyes hollow, murmurs of a palace plot, her voice low as if the walls might snitch. The torchlight outside flickers through a cracked window, casting jagged shadows that twist like Wu's jade throne, distant, yet crushing. You wonder, what's it like where you're listening? Does your night feel as heavy as this one? With secrets scribbled in the dark, the incense burns your throat. Each inhale a reminder of Leon's gamble. Her poetry could save her or doom her, maybe even tied to a rumor of Wu's hidden child. Your fingers graze the rough wall, grounding you, but the irony stings in a city of silk. Survival is stitched with thorns. The tea house door swings shut behind you, Lian's peeper note fading into Chang'an's fog, but its echo clings like damp silk to your skin. You step back onto the cobbles, their slick grit crunching underfoot, each step spiking your pulse as the alley tightens like a noose. The air reeks of rotting lotus petals and spilled wine. The city's filth now a pulsing symbol of despair, seeping into every crack like ink into parchment. You spot Lian again, her silhouette darting past a torchlit stall, her scroll tucked tight against her chest. She's not just a courtesan, she's a whisper in Zetian's shadow, her poetry a blade sharper than the hairpin glinting in her braid. They say some courtesans hid daggers in those pins, passing them off as jade ornaments to gut a client who paid in promises a grim hustle. Absurd as gig workers stashing knives in today's delivery bags. Your heart races, the incense's cloying sweetness burning your throat, and you feel the city's eyes, constable, spies, or worse, tracking your every move. You trail Lian toward a low brothel, its bamboo screen sagging like a tired lie. Inside, the air is thick with sweat and cheap baijiu, the kind that stings like regret. Courtesans barter rice for favours, their fans snapping in coded patterns, but the mood shifts when a shout erupts a client, drunk on power, grabs a girl's wrist, demanding more than she offered. You freeze, your breath hitching, as Lian steps in, her voice low but sharp, diffusing the tension with a poem that sounds like a threat. The man backs off, but the scene leaves you rattled, your fingers twitching against your coat's rough hemp. Scholars still argue, did Wu's open court empower these women or just paint their chains gold? The debate hums like the torchlight, now flickering blood red, casting shadows that twist like Wu's throne, distant yet crushing. You're caught in this dual perspective, Lian's defiance versus the brothel's despair. A microcosm of Chang'an's hypocrisy. It's like Dust Bowl migrants, singing hymns while starving, their resilience a middle finger to fate. Zoom out, and the city sprawls like a fever dream, its river glinting with lanterns that bob like lost hopes. A constable's boots clack nearby, his lantern swinging, and you duck behind a stall, your pulse hammering as if you're the one hiding secrets. Lian's scroll, you realise, might hold more than poetry, maybe a name, a plot, even a whisper of Wu's hidden daughter, May. The thought sends a chill down your spine, a multi-twist teasing danger. What if Lian's words could topple an empress, or doom her instead? You smirk at the irony. Wu, the female ruler, preaching power while girls like Lian barter their souls for rice. What's the last secret you kept, and how much would you pay to bury it in this fog? The air grows colder, the filth underfoot now a mirror of the city's moral rot, each puddle reflecting a torch's dying glow. You step forward, but a strange image stops you. A lotus petal smeared with blood floats in the gutter, its scent mingling with incense, whispering of a truth too dark to name. The blood-smeared lotus petal vanishes into the gutter's murk, but its scent sharp. Wrong clings to you as you hurry after Lian through Chang'an's fog-choked alleys. The cobbles pulse under your boots, each step a jolt that spikes your fear, as if the city itself is warning you to turn back. The torchlight fades, its glow mutating into a sickly flicker, like despair seeping from the stones. You catch Lian's silhouette ahead, her peeper's faint note slicing through the mist, a recurring signal now laced with urgency. She ducks into a shadowed courtyard, where courtesans whisper behind bamboo screens, their fans snapping like coded heartbeats. A sudden clatter erupts, a constable's lantern crashes, his shout splitting the air as he chases a fleeing figure. You freeze, heart hammering as Lian pulls you behind a crate, her breath hot against your ear. "Stay low," she hisses, her hairpin glinting like a dagger. They say some courtesans soaked ribbons in violet ink to mimic silk, fooling clients into paying more a sly trick, as desperate as gig workers upcharging for late-night rides. Your throat burns with incense and panic, the air thick as a lie, and you wonder if you're chasing Lian or running from the same fate. The courtyard hums with tension, torchlight casting warped shadows that twist like Zetian's jade throne, distant yet suffocating. Lian's scroll slips from her sleeve, its ink smudged with a name, May, the rumoured daughter of Wu, sold into this life by court betrayal. The multi-twist hits like a blade. Lian's poetry isn't just survival. It's a map to a secret that could shake the empire. You glimpse May, her face pale under lead-white paste, her eyes hollow as she barters with a leering official. Scholars still argue whether courtesans like her were pawns or players in Wu's court, their coded poems shaping coups or sealing their graves. The uncertainty fuels your adrenaline, your fingers trembling against the crate's splintered wood, its grit mirroring the city's moral decay. It's like Me Too whistleblowers, risking everything to name the powerful, their voices drowned in corporate fog. You smirk at the irony, Wu, the Empress of women, built her throne on secrets these women died to keep. What's the last risk you took that left your heart pounding like this? And would you dare it again in Chang'an's shadows? Action surges as the constable's boots close in, his lantern's beam slicing the fog. Lian grabs your wrist, pulling you through a maze of crates, her pippa note now a frantic pulse. You stumble, the courtyard's filth, rotting rice and lotus stems slipping underfoot, a sensory peak that churns your stomach. Zoom out, and Chang'an sprawls like a beast, its lanterns flickering like eyes in the dark, watching, waiting. Lian's fan snaps shut, signaling May to vanish, but the official lunges, his hand grazing her sleeve. You hold your breath, fear spiking as Lian whispers a coded verse, her voice steady despite the chaos. The official hesitates, swayed or spooked, and retreats into the fog. Your chest aches, the incense's cloying weight now a suffocating shroud, and you realize Lian's gamble her poetry. Her life teeters on a razor's edge. The torchlight dims, leaving only a faint glow, like hope drowning in despair. A strange chill settles as you spot a single violet ribbon, torn and trampled, its ink bleeding into the mud, whispering of secrets too heavy to carry alone. The violet ribbon's ink bleeds into the mud, its stain a silent scream as you crouch behind the crate with Lian, her peeper's frantic note still ringing in your ears. Chang'an's fog thickens, torchlight fading into a ghostly haze, despair's weight mutating the glow into a suffocating shroud. Your boots slip on the courtyard's filth, rotting lotus stems and fish scales each squelch, spiking your fear like a blade to the gut. Lian's eyes, sharp under her lead-white mask, dart to the alley as a constable's shout cuts through, his lantern swinging like a predator's gaze. She pulls you toward a hidden stair, her scroll pressed tight, its ink smudging May's name, Zetian's rumoured daughter, a secret that could burn the empire. They say courtesans sold lavender-washed hair to wig makers, fetching extra coins for locks dipped in stolen perfume, a desperate hustle. Absurd as Depression-era women trading scraps for survival. Your chest heaves, the incense's metallic tang searing your lungs, and you feel the city's pulse racing, as if it's conspiring against you both. The stair creaks underfoot, each step a gamble as you descend into a low-ceilinged den, its air thick with bijou and sweat. Courtesans huddle, their fans snapping in coded panic, while May, pale as death, whispers to Lian, her voice trembling with a multi-twist. She's not just Wu's child, but a pawn in a plot to unseat the Empress. A client, a silk-robed official, looms nearby, his grin cruel as he overhears, his hand twitching toward a dagger. Action erupts. Lian shoves you aside, her pippa note shrieking as she swings the lute, its hidden steel strings slashing the official's sleeve. You stumble, heart pounding, the den's torchlight flickering like a dying pulse, casting shadows that twist like Wu's throne, distant yet crushing. Scholars still debate whether Tang courtesans fueled rebellions or were crushed by them, their secrets lost in court ledgers. It's like Me Too survivors, their whispers toppling giants while risking their own necks. You smirk at the irony Wu's reign lifts women, yet her shadow buries them. What's the last whisper you heard that changed everything? And would you dare repeat it here? Zoom out, and Chang'an sprawls like a fevered beast, its river lanterns bobbing like fading hopes, their reflections drowning in black water. The official retreats, bloodied but alive, his curses swallowed by the fog as Lian pulls Mei into the shadows. Your hands shake, the den's filth spilled wine, crushed petals mirroring the city's moral rot, a sensory peak that churns your stomach. Lian's fan snaps shut, signaling safety, but her eyes betray fear. She knows the plot's weight could crush them all. You duck under a low beam, the wood's damp grit scraping your palm, and feel the city closing in, its walls whispering of Mei's birthright and Lian's gamble. The torchlight dims, despair's shroud tightening, and you catch a strange chill. A single peeper string, snapped and blood-flecked, lies coiled in the dirt, its note silent but heavy with a truth that could unravel Chang'an's heart before dawn. The blood-flecked peeper string from the den's chaos lingers in your mind, its silent scream echoing as you trail Lian and Mei through Chang'an's suffocating fog. The alley's cobbles, slick with filth, rotting lotus petals, fish scales, and spilled beiju suck at your boots, each step a jolt that spikes your fear, as if the city itself conspires to trap you. The torchlight, once a faint pulse, mutates into a ghostly flicker, its despair cloaking the air like a shroud. Your breath catches, sharp with incense and the metallic tang of panic, as Lian's hurried steps lead you to a crumbling archway, its bamboo screen sagging like a whispered lie. Mei's face, pale under her cracked lead-white mask, betrays terror, her eyes darting as if Zetian's spies lurk in every shadow. The air bites with Baiju's sour sting, and your skin prickles, the silk of your coat scraping like a warning scratched into your flesh. Lian's fan snaps shut, a coded signal, but the courtyard beyond hums with betrayal's weight officials who promise protection yet demand flesh. Sisters who trade loyalty for a handful of coins. They say some courtesans sang hymns to mask their deals, their voices sweet as temple bells but paid for in silver, an absurd trick, as hypocritical as modern televangelists preaching salvation while pocketing tithes. Your heart races, the incense's cloying grip choking your throat, and you feel Chang'an's pulse shift, as if it's turning on you, too. You duck under the arch, the stone's damp chill biting your palm, and enter a cramped courtyard where courtesans huddle under flickering lanterns, their fans snapping in coded rhythms. A physical clash erupts an official, his silk robe still torn from Lian's peeper swing, lunges again, his dagger glinting like a crescent moon. Lian shoves Mei behind a barrel, her hairpin flashing as she parries, her movements sharp as the poetry she weaves. You stumble, your boots slipping on the courtyard's filth-spilled wine and crushed lotus stems, a sensory peak that churns your stomach like a nightmare you can't shake. The official's curse slices the air, but a courtesan's fan snap distracts him, her smile a blade of its own, honed by years of survival. You grab a crate to steady yourself, its splintered wood gouging your fingers, the pain grounding you as your pulse hammers. Scholars still debate whether these women were mere victims or covert rebels, their coded songs fueling Wu's court or defying its iron grip. It's like Me Too survivors, their whispers toppling giants, but risking their own necks in the process. You smirk at the irony. Wu, the Empress of women's power, builds her throne on the backs of those she lets bleed in these shadows. What's the last betrayal you felt? And how much would you pay to turn it into a song that could cut like Lian's hairpin? Zoom out, and Chang'an sprawls like a beast dreaming of its own ruin, its river lanterns bobbing like fading vows in the black water. The torchlight flickers, casting shadows that twist like Wu's jade throne, distant, yet suffocating. Its presence a reminder of the Empire's weight on every soul here. Lian's peeper note, a recurring motif, hums again, low and urgent. As she pulls Mei toward a hidden door behind a tattered screen, you follow, your breath ragged, the air thick with sweat and the sour reek of desperation. A new tidbit surfaces. Some courtesans wove secrets into their hair, braiding coded threads that snagged on combs, betraying them to spies who traded their lives for a single coin. The thought spikes your fear, your fingers brushing your coat's rough hemp, its itch a constant reminder of Chang'an's unrelenting grip. May stumbles, her lead-white mask cracking further, revealing a bruise that snakes down her cheek, a mark of her courtly past, perhaps proof of Wu's blood running through her veins. The multi-twist deepens. May's birthright could save them or doom them all, and Lian's poetry is their only shield against the Empire's wrath. The courtyard's chaos swells as another official appears, his eyes glinting with greed, his hand clutching a scroll that mirrors Lian's. You freeze, your heart thudding like a war drum. As he demands May's name, his voice low but laced with menace, Lian steps forward, her peeper raised like a weapon, its strings gleaming with hidden steel. The air grows heavier, the incense's metallic tang now a suffocating veil, and you feel the city closing in, its walls whispering of May's secret and Lian's gamble. A courtesan nearby, her fan trembling, lets slip a shocking truth: some officials paid courtesans to spy on each other, turning sisterhood into a game of knives. Your smirk fades, replaced by a pang of empathy as you see May's trembling hands, her fan useless against the cold. The official lunges, but Lian's verse, a coded plea, freezes him, his dagger hovering. You duck behind a barrel, the wood's damp rot seeping into your palms, and feel the courtyard's filth, now a symbol of broken promises mirroring the city's moral decay. Each puddle reflects a lantern's dying glow, as if hope itself drowns in Chang'an's shadows. You scramble after Lian and May through the hidden door, the stairwell beyond narrow and slick with damp. Each step echoes like a heartbeat, the torchlight barely touching the darkness, its flicker now a faint pulse of despair. The air grows colder, the stench of filth, rotting rice and lotus stems mixing with the incense's fading sweetness, a sensory struggle that makes your head spin. Lian's scroll slips again, its ink smudging under your gaze, and you catch a line, a coded hint of May's birth, a secret that could topple Wu's throne or bury them both. Historical records are murky. Did Wu know of her daughter's fate? Or was May just another pawn in the court's endless games, like Depression-era mothers abandoning children to survive? These women's choices haunt you, their weight pressing against your chest. You pause, your boots sinking into the stairwell's mud, and hear a courtesan's brittle laugh from above, mocking the official who retreats, his dagger sheathed but his threat lingering like a storm. The stairwell opens to a dim corridor, its walls lined with tattered silk banners, their crimson threads fraying like the lives they advertise. Lian's peeper note hums faintly, a thread tying you to her fight, but the sound feels fragile, as if it could snap under the city's weight. You glance at May, her bruise stark against her pale skin, and feel a surge of empathy. Her life, like Lian's, is a gamble against a world that chews up the powerless. The corridor's air is thick with bijou and fear, each inhale a reminder of the stakes. A new debate surfaces: did Wu's reforms empower these women, or merely shift their chains from iron to silk? The uncertainty gnaws at you, your fingers twitching against your coat, its hemp now a second skin of unease. You smirk at the absurdity an empress preaching freedom, while her court thrives on secrets these women die to keep. The torchlight dims further, despair's shroud tightening, and you feel a strange chill. A single lotus leaf, torn and blood-streaked, floats in a puddle at the corridor's end, its scent sharp as a secret too heavy to carry, whispering of a truth that could unravel Chang'an's heart before dawn. The blood-flecked peeper string lies coiled in the dirt, its silent scream echoing in your chest as you follow Lian and May through Chang'an's fog. The den's chaos fading behind you. The alley twists, cobbles slick with filth, rotting rice, and crushed lotus petals that sticks to your boots like a curse. The torchlight's sickly glow mutates further. Now, a faint pulse, as if despair itself dims the city's heart. Your breath catches, sharp with incense and fear, as Lian's hurried steps lead you to a crumbling archway, its bamboo screen trembling like a held breath. May's face, pale under lead-white paste, betrays panic, her eyes darting as if the fog hides Zetian's spies. The air bites with Beiju's sour sting, and your skin prickles, the silk of your coat scraping like a warning. Lian's fan snaps shut, a coded signal, but the courtyard beyond hums with betrayal's weight officials who promise protection yet demand flesh. Sisters who trade loyalty for coin. They say some courtesans sang hymns to mask their deals, their voices sweet as church bells but paid for in silver a trick as absurd as modern televangelists preaching salvation while pocketing donations. Your heart races, the incense's metallic grip tightening your throat, and you feel Chang'an's pulse shift, as if it's betraying you too. You duck under the arch, the stone cold against your palm, and enter a cramped courtyard where courtesans barter under flickering lanterns. A physical clash erupts an official, his silk robe torn from Lian's peeper swing, lunges again, his dagger glinting. Lian shoves Mei behind a barrel, her own hairpin flashing as she parries, her movements sharp as her poetry. You stumble, your boots slipping on filth now thick with spilled wine, a sensory peak that churns your stomach like a bad dream. The official's curse cuts through, but a courtesan's fan snap distracts him, her smile a blade of its own. You're caught in the fray, your pulse hammering as you grab a crate to steady yourself, its splinter biting your finger. Scholars debate whether these women were mere victims or covert rebels, their coded songs fueling Wu's court or defying it. It's like Me Too survivors, their whispers toppling giants but risking their own necks. You smirk at the irony Wu's empire of women's power leans on those she lets bleed in the shadows. What's the last betrayal you felt, and how much would you pay to turn it into a song? The torchlight flickers, casting shadows that twist like Wu's jade throne, distant yet crushing. Zoom out, and Chang'an sprawls like a beast dreaming of its own ruin, its river lanterns bobbing like fading vows. Lian's peeper note, a recurring motif, hums again, low and urgent, as she pulls Mei toward a hidden door. You follow, your breath ragged, the air thick with sweat and fear. A new tidbit surfaces some courtesans wove secrets into their hair, braiding coded threads that snagged on combs, betraying them to spies. The thought spikes your fear, your fingers brushing your coat's rough hemp, its itch a reminder of the city's unrelenting grip. Mei stumbles, her lid-white mask cracking, revealing a bruise, a mark of her courtly past. Perhaps Wu's own blood. The multi-twist deepens, her birthright could save or doom them all, and Lian's poetry is their only shield. You pause, the courtyard's filth now a symbol of broken promises, each puddle reflecting a lantern's dying glow. A courtesan's laugh, brittle as glass, cuts through, mocking the official who retreats, his dagger sheathed but his threat lingering. You move toward the door, your boots sinking into mud, the sensory struggle overwhelming as incense mixes with the stench of betrayal. Lian's scroll slips, its ink smudging under your gaze, and you catch a line, a coded plea, maybe for Mei's freedom. The historical uncertainty gnaws. Did Wu know of her daughter's fate? Or was she another secret buried in Chang'an's fog like Depression era? Mothers abandoning children to survive. These women's choices haunt you. Your smirk fades, replaced by empathy as you see Mei's trembling hands, her fan useless against the cold. The door creaks open, revealing a dim stairwell, its walls slick with damp. You descend, each step echoing like a heartbeat, the torchlight barely touching the darkness. Lian's pipper note fades, but its echo lingers, a thread tying you to her fight. The air grows colder, the filth underfoot now a mirror of the city's moral rot. And you feel a strange chill. A single lotus leaf, torn and blood-streaked, floats in a puddle at the stair's base, its scent sharp as a secret too heavy to keep. As you reach the bottom, the stairwell opens into a subterranean room, lit by sputtering lanterns that cast long shadows on the walls. The air is stale, heavy with the scent of damp earth and old incense, the kind that clings to your skin like a second layer of regret. Lian leads you to a low table, where a group of courtesans sits, their faces illuminated by the flickering light. One of them, a woman with eyes like polished jade, passes a cup of baijiu, her smile wry. "Drink," she says. It dulls the sting of betrayal. You take the cup, the liquid burning down your throat, a fire that momentarily chases away the chill. But the warmth is fleeting, and the room's atmosphere presses in, the walls seeming to close like the jaws of a trap. Mei sits beside you, her hands folded in her lap, but you notice the slight tremble, the way her fingers twitch as if longing for a fan or a scroll to hold. Lian unrolls her parchment, the ink still fresh, and begins to read in a whisper, her voice weaving through the room like a thread of silk. The poem speaks of a hidden child, a daughter of the dragon throne, cast into the shadows by court intrigue. The words hang in the air, heavy with implication, and you feel a surge of empathy for May, her story a tragic echo of so many others. The historical debate rages in your mind. Was Zetian a liberator or a tyrant? Her reforms a beacon for women or a veil for their suffering? The uncertainty adds to the tension, the lantern's light wavering as if unsure of what to illuminate. A tidbit absurd slips from one courtesan's lips. We once hid messages in our makeup, powdering secrets into the lead-white paste, so every kiss revealed a plot. You chuckle softly, the sarcasm bubbling up. Imagine poisoning yourself to pass a note, like modern spies using invisible ink in a world of digital leaks. But the laugh dies as the room grows quieter, the air thicker with unspoken fears. Suddenly, a knock echoes from above, sharp and insistent. The courtesans freeze, their fans snapping shut in unison, a coded warning that sends a shiver down your spine. Leon rolls the scroll quickly, her movements precise, but May's eyes widen, her bruise standing out stark against her pale skin. You rise, your heart pounding. The bijous burn now a distant memory as fear grips you. The knock comes again, and a voice calls out, muffled but authoritative and official, perhaps the same one from the den, seeking revenge or answers. Leon gestures for silence, her peeper note humming low, a recurring signal that now feels like a lifeline. You press against the wall, the damp stone cold against your back, the sensory immersion pulling you deeper into the moment. The filth from the alley clings to your clothes, a symbol of the city's betrayal, each speck a reminder of how easily one can fall. The voice fades, the knock stopping as footsteps retreat, but the tension lingers, the lantern's light dimming as if the room itself holds its breath. May whispers, her voice breaking. He knows too much. Leanne nods, her eyes hardening, and you feel the weight of their sisterhood, fractured by jealousy and survival. One courtesan, her hair braided with secrets, eyes another with suspicion a rival who might sell them out for a handful of coins. The irony stings in a world ruled by a woman. These women turn on each other to survive. You reflect on it, the empathy swelling as you think of modern parallels, like women in cutthroat industries sabotaging one another for a promotion. What would you do if your closest ally became your betrayer? Fight or flee? The room settles, the lantern stabilizing, but the air remains heavy. The incenser's scent now a choking veil. Leon packs her scroll, May clutching her arm, and you follow them toward a back exit, the stairwell's damp walls closing in. The physical event has passed, but the emotional peak lingers, your fear mixing with a clever commentary on the absurdity of it all. As you climb, the torchlight from above filters down, its glow mutating into a faint hope. But the filth on your boots reminds you of the cost. A strange image greets you at the top, a single fan, abandoned and torn, its snap forever silenced, leaving a chill that whispers of more betrayals to come. Leon pushes the door open, the fog rushing in like an old friend, and you step into the night, the city's pulse slowing as the adrenaline ebbs. May walks beside you, her steps hesitant, and you feel a surge of empathy for her, the hidden daughter thrust into this world of shadows. The historical uncertainty gnaws how many like her were lost to Wu's ambition, their stories buried in court records like Depression-era orphans, cast aside for survival, their lives a footnote in history's cruel ledger. You smirk at the sarcasm. Wu, the Empress who broke the mold. Yet her legacy cracks under the weight of these women's tears. The alley widens, the cobbles less slick, but the filth mutates, now a symbol of resilience, each speck a battle scar. A tidbit absurd floats from Leon's lips. We once disguised poisons as perfume, a spritz that killed with a kiss. The thought amuses you, a clever commentary on their ingenuity, like gig workers hacking apps for extra tips. The group pauses to riverbank, lanterns bobbing on the water like forgotten promises. May dips her hand in, the cold shocking her, and you feel the sensory immersion deepen, the water's chill mirroring your inner turmoil. The torchlight fades, its glow now a distant memory. Despair's shroud lifting slightly as Leon hums a peeper note. The motif recurs, a thread of hope in the darkness, and you reflect on the betrayal's sting. What's the price of loyalty in a world like this? A poem, a life. The empathy swells, your fear easing into a quiet understanding, the city's secrets weighing less as the fog thins. A modern parallel hits like Cosmitu allies turning on each other under pressure. The sisterhood frays but endures. You walk on, the rivers murmur a soothing rhythm, the pace slowing for bedtime reflection. Leon leads you to a quiet stall, where a vendor offers bowls of noodles, the steam rising like ghosts. You sit, the wooden bench hard against your back, and May shares a whisper, "My mother's throne means nothing here." The words cut deep, the empathy blooming as you see her not as a secret, but as a woman broken by betrayal. The historical debate rages: did Wu's reforms empower or exploit? Her court a haven or a prison? The uncertainty adds layers, the lantern's light stabilizing as if the city itself ponders the question. You sip the broth, its warmth chasing the chill, and smirk at the irony a hidden daughter eating street food while her mother feasts in jade halls. A shocking element emerges. May's bruise hides a tattoo, a dragon mark from Wu's court, proof of her bloodline. The revelation twists, your fear spiking anew, but Leon's fan snap calms you, her poetry a shield. The night deepens, the fog wrapping around you like a blanket, the sensory struggle easing into a lull, the filth on your boots, once a curse, now feels like armor, a symbol of survival. Zoom out, and Chang'an sleeps like a dragon coiled, its lanterns flickering like dreams. Leon's peeper note hums softly, a recurring motif that ties the betrayal to hope. And you feel the emotional shift, fear fading into empathy. The vendor's grin, crooked but kind, offers a cup of baijiu, its burn a reminder of the city's dual nature. You drink, the warmth spreading, and reflect on the sisterhood's fragility. What betrayal would break you or make you stronger? The question lingers, the pace slowing as the river murmurs, inviting sleep's gentle pull. May leans against you, her head heavy, and you feel the weight of her story, the empathy deepening. The historical tidbits: some courtesans forged alliances with nuns, hiding in temples to escape court hunts. The modern comparison like underground networks in colonial America, women banding together against odds. The sarcasm bubbles Wu's power, built on betrayal, yet these women forge their own. The lanterns dim, the fog thickening, and you walk on, the city's secrets whispering of more to come. A strange image appears, a torn fan, its silk shredded, lying in the path, its snap forever silenced, leaving a psychological chill that hints at the betrayals yet to unfold. The torn fan's shredded silk lies in the path, its silence a chilling echo as you step over it, following Leon and May into Chang'an's thickening fog. The alley widens slightly, but the air remains heavy, incense mingling with the damp earth scent that rises from the cobbles. Your boots crunch on scattered petals, their rot a muted symbol of the city's decaying promises. Lian's peeper note, faint but insistent, guides you forward, a recurring motif that now carries the weight of secrets yet untold. May walks close, her arm brushing yours, her breath shallow as if the fog itself steals it away. The torchlight from a distant stall flickers, its glow mutating into a hazy veil, as if despair whispers through the mist. You feel the city's pulse quicken, the walls seeming to lean in, listening to every whispered word lost in the wind. Leon leads you to a secluded tea house, its bamboo door creaking like a reluctant confession. Inside, the air is thick with steam from boiling kettles, the scent of green tea cutting through the incense's cloying grip. Courtesans sit in shadowed corners, their fans folded, eyes darting like minnows in a pond. Leon nods to a woman with jade eyes, who slides a cup toward you, the liquid hot against your palms. "Drink," she says, her voice low. It clears the mind for what's coming. You sip, the bitterness blooming on your tongue, a sensory struggle that sharpens your senses amid the fog's dulling haze. The room hums with quiet conversations, snippets of poetry recited in code, each line a potential spark for rebellion. They say Pipa lutes hid messages in their hollow bodies, courtesans strumming secrets that could topple officials a tidbit as absurd as American Revolution women sewing codes into quilts to fool British spies. Your heart stirs with suspense. the tea's heat spreading, but the irony bites Wu Zetian's court, built on female cunning, now hunts those who wield it best. May settles beside you, her lead-white mask cracking further, revealing lines of worry etched like ink on parchment. Lian unrolls her scroll, the paper crinkling in the quiet, and begins to read in a whisper, her words weaving through the steam like threads of fate. The poem hints at a plot, shadowy figures in Wu's court plotting her downfall, with May as the unwitting key. The multi-twist unfolds. May isn't just a hidden daughter. Her existence proves Wu's hypocrisy. A child abandoned to the streets while the Empress preaches power. You lean in, the whispered words lost in the wind from a cracked window, the sensory immersion pulling you deeper into the conspiracy. Scholars still debate whether courtesans shaped Tang politics, their networks of spies influencing emperors or merely surviving them. It's like modern whistleblowers in corporate America, leaking emails that expose CEOs but risk their own erasure. You smirk at the clever commentary, "Ooh, the dragon lady, slain by the very whispers she ignored. What secret would you hide in a poem, and who would you trust to decode it?" The tea house's lanterns sway, casting shadows that dance like spies in the night. Zoom out, and Chang'an pulses like a living entity, its river a vein of secrets flowing toward the palace. A courtesan across the room eyes Lian suspiciously, her fan twitching as if ready to snap a betrayal. The air grows tense, the steam from the kettles rising like ghosts, and you feel the wind's chill seep through the window, whispering of danger. Lian's peeper note hums again, low and urgent, drawing May closer as she reveals more. The plot involves a high official, the same one from the den, who knows May's bloodline and plans to use it as leverage. The shocking element hits May's tattoo, a dragon mark from Wu's court, could prove her claim or seal her death. Your pulse quickens, the tea's bitterness now anchor amid the swirling fear. The historical uncertainty gnaws. Did Wu orchestrate such plots to test loyalty? Or was she blind to the shadows, like some Me Too movements, where survivors expose networks but face backlash? These women navigate a web of power and peril. A sudden gust rattles the bamboo door, and the courtesan with jade eyes stands, her robe swishing as she checks the alley. "He's coming," she mutters, her voice a blade. The room freezes, fans folding in unison, and Lian rolls the scroll, her fingers steady despite the tremor in May's hand. You rise, your coat's hemp scratching your skin, the sensory struggle intensifying as the wind carries the scent of approaching rain. The lanterns dim, their glow fading into despair's embrace, and you glimpse the official's silhouette through the screen, his daggers glint a promise of violence. Lian's fan snaps, signaling escape, and you bolt toward a back exit. May's arm linked with yours. The alley swallows you, the fog a cloak, but the pursuit's footsteps echo, each one a hammer to your fear. You duck behind a cart, the wood rough against your back, and Lian whispers a coded verse, her pippa note masking your breaths. The official passes, his curse lost in the wind, but the close call leaves you shaking, empathy surging for May's fragile existence. The night deepens, the fog wrapping around you like a shroud, the pace slowing as you catch your breath. Lian leads you to a quiet bridge. The rivers murmur a soothing rhythm beneath the bridge's arch. May leans on the railing, her tears mixing with the mist, and you feel the emotional peak shift, fear giving way to a quiet understanding. The torchlight from distant stalls flickers, its glow now a faint hope, mutating the despair into something survivable. A tidbit absurd emerges, courtesans once disguised poisons as tea, a sip that killed with a smile. The irony amuses you, a clever commentary on their ingenuity amid betrayal, like colonial American women forging alliances in secret. These courtesans weave their own fate. You reflect on the sisterhood's fragility, the wind carrying your thoughts. What betrayal would you forgive for survival's sake? The bridge creaks, the river's lanterns bobbing like forgotten dreams, their reflections dancing on the water. Lian hums her pippa note, a recurring motif that ties the conspiracy's threads, and May shares a memory, a childhood glimpse of Wu's throne, now a distant throne of thorns. The historical debate lingers. Did courtesans like her influence Tang's fate, or were they footnotes in Wu's legend? The uncertainty adds depth, the fog thinning slightly as rain begins to patter. You walk on, the cobbles less slick, the filth now a badge of endurance. A modern parallel strikes like gig economy workers unionizing in the shadows. These women fight back with whispers. The empathy deepens, your fear easing into solidarity, the city's secrets feeling less burdensome. Rain falls harder, the droplets cold on your skin, the sensory immersion pulling you into the moment. Lian shelters under an awning, her scroll safe, and May wipes her face. Her bruise a stark reminder of the cost. The lanterns dim, the fog mutating into a veil of rain, despair's shroud lifting as you huddle together. The Pippa note hums softly, a thread of resilience, and you feel the mood shift, fear fading into a quiet resolve. A shocking sad element emerges May's tattoo, once a mark of royalty, now a scar of abandonment. The irony stings Wu's power, forged in fire, leaves her daughter in the cold. You smirk, but the empathy swells, the rain washing away the night's grime. What's the cost of a secret like hers, and how far would you go to protect it? The awning drips, the rain, a steady rhythm, the pace slowing for reflection. Lian's fan opens, its snap a signal of safety, and you move on, the city's pulse calming, the filth underfoot. Once a curse, now feels like ground gained, a symbol of survival. Zoom out, and Chang'an breathes like a sleeping giant, its secrets tucked away for dawn. The torchlight fades, hope's faint glow emerging, and you walk into the night, the psychological chill of betrayal lingering, but the mood shifting to a tentative peace, hinting at the confrontations yet to come. The abandoned fan's silence hangs in the air like a broken promise as you step from the awning into the pattering rain, Chang'an's fog wrapping around you like a cold embrace. The cobbles glisten, slick with filth, spilled wine, and crushed petals that slips under your boots like a treacherous whisper. The torchlight from the tea house fades, its glow mutating into a distant flicker, as if despair itself veils the city's secrets. Lian leads the way, her Pippa note humming low, a recurring motif that now carries the urgency of uncovered truths. May walks beside you, her arm linked with yours, her breath shallow as the rain drips from her lead-white mask, cracking it further to reveal the vulnerability beneath. The air is heavy with the scent of wet earth and incense, the baiju's sour tang lingering on your tongue from the vendor's cup. Your coat's hemp scratches your skin, a sensory struggle that heightens your awareness, each drop of rain a needle prick of tension. Lian pauses at a narrow gate, her fan snapping open to check for shadows, and you slip through into a dimly lit chamber, the palace's outer walls looming like a giant's shadow. The room is sparse, walls draped in blood-red curtains that sway slightly in the draught, their fabric whispering like conspirators. A single lantern hangs, its light glinting off a dagger on the table, sharp as Lian's gaze. She unrolls her scroll, the paper crinkling in the quiet, and begins to read, her voice a blade cutting through the fog of uncertainty. The poem reveals a court betrayal officials plotting against Zetian, using May as leverage. Her hidden daughter, Status, the key to unlocking chaos. The multi-twist unfolds. May was sold into the trade by a rival consort, Wu's paranoia blinding her to the child's fate. Horror creeps in as Lian describes the interrogation methods tongue-cutting for those who speak too freely, a punishment as silent as it is savage. They say executions were masters' poetry contests, losers silenced forever, a tidbit absurd as it is chilling, like modern talent shows where failure means erasure. Your heart pounds in the silent chamber, the air thick with dread, each beat echoing like a drum in your chest. The curtains billow, revealing a portrait of Wu, her stern eyes looming from the wall, judging the room's inhabitants. Zoom out, and Chang'an pulses like a heart on the verge of breaking, its river a vein of forgotten stories flowing toward oblivion. May collapses onto a bench, her hands trembling as she traces the dragon tattoo on her arm, proof of her bloodline. Lian's voice drops, recounting how she uncovered the plot through whispered verses in the brothels, each line a risk that could end in blood. The historical debate rages: did Wu's paranoia stabilize the empire by crushing dissent, or did it destabilize by breeding more shadows? The uncertainty gnaws at you, the lantern's light wavering as if unsure of the truth. It's like Me Too exposés, where survivors name powerful figures, their words a double-edged sword that cuts both ways. You smirk at the irony. Wu, the Empress who shattered glass ceilings, now faces shatter from the whispers below. What truth would you uncover if it meant facing the blade? And how long could you hold your tongue? The chamber's silence presses in, the rain pattering outside like fingers tapping secrets on the roof. Leon's peeper note hums again, low and soothing, a motif that ties the betrayal's threads to hope's fragile weave. May whispers, her voice breaking. She knew I was a mistake, hidden to protect her throne. The shocking element hits Wu's court records hint at a child vanished, perhaps deliberately to avoid scandal. Your pulse quickens, the air growing colder, the curtain's blood-red hue now a symbol of spilled secrets. The dagger on the table glints, a temptation or a threat, and you feel the sensory peak, the incense's scent turning acrid, burning your nostrils like the fire of revelation. Leon paces, her hairpin catching the light, and describes the interrogation rooms in the palace dark cells where tongues are cut, words forever stolen. The horror lightens with sarcasm. They call it poetry justice, she says, her laugh bitter as Baiju. You chuckle softly, the clever commentary easing the fear, but empathy surges for May, her tattoo a scar of abandonment. The rain intensifies, drumming a rhythm that slows the pace, inviting reflection amid the storm. You sit, the bench hard against your back, and May leans on you, her weight a reminder of her fragility. The lantern's light stabilizes, its glow mutating from despair to a faint warmth, as if the chamber itself breathes easier. Leon shares a tidbit courtesans once forged alliances with eunuchs, trading verses for palace gossip, their networks a web stronger than silk. The modern parallel strikes like underground resistance in colonial America, women whispering against empires. The uncertainty deepens the debate Wu's paranoia, born of survival. Mirrored in these women's lives, did it forge an empire or fracture it? You reflect. The rain's patter, a soothing backdrop. The empathy blooming as you see Leon not as a courtesan, but as a guardian of truths too dangerous to speak. The curtains part slightly in the wind, revealing a glimpse of the palace, its jade tiles glinting like a dragon's scales. Zoom out, and the city sprawls like a tapestry of light and shadow, its secrets woven into every thread. The dagger's glint fades, the chamber's air lightening as Leon rolls the scroll. May wipes her eyes, her mask fully cracked, and you feel the emotional shift, fear giving way to a quiet solidarity. The incense's scent softens, no longer choking but calming, the rain's rhythm a lullaby for the weary. A sad element emerges May's childhood memory of Wu's throne, now a throne of thorns in her mind. The sarcasm bubbles. Power's a poison sweeter than lead white, Leon says, her voice a whisper. You nod, the clever commentary resonating, the empathy deepening as the night's betrayals weigh on you like the fog. The pace slows, the rain a steady murmur, inviting sleep's gentle pull. Leon hums her peeper note, a motif that echoes hope amid the chaos, and May shares a poem fragment, her voice steadying. The historical tidbit, some courtesans escaped interrogations by feigning madness, their poetry contests turning into rants that fooled the guards. The modern comparison, like gig workers hacking systems for fair pay, these women bent rules to survive. The debate lingers Wu's paranoia, a double-edged sword, stabilizing through fear but destabilizing through loss. You reflect on it, the chamber's walls seeming less confining, the empathy for these women a balm. What paranoia have you faced, and how has it shaped your secrets? The lantern dims, the curtains settling, the rain's patter fading into a whisper. The chamber breathes, its air lighter, and you lean back, the bench's hardness easing as fatigue sets in. Leon packs her things, May's hand in yours, and you feel the mood shift, the crisis fear mutating into a reflective calm. A strange image appears in the lantern's dying light, a single petal, unstained, floating in a puddle, its purity a chill hint of revelations yet to unfold. The unstained petal floats in the puddle, its purity a fleeting chill as you step from the chamber into Chang'an's rain-slicked streets, the fog parting like a curtain on a stage of secrets. Lian's peeper note hums again, a recurring motif that seals the night's urgency, guiding you and May through the maze of alleys. The cobbles glisten, slick with filth, spilled wine, and crushed lotus stems that slips under your boots like a treacherous ally. The torchlight from the chamber fades, its glow mutating into a distant pulse, as if hope flickers just beyond despair's grasp. Your coat's hemp scratches your skin, the rain's cold fingers tracing your neck, a sensory struggle that heightens the adrenaline surging through you. May clutches your arm, her lead-white mask fully washed away by the downpour, revealing a face raw with fear and determination. Lian walks ahead, her scroll tucked safe, her hairpin glinting like a promise of protection. You turn a corner, the palace walls looming closer, their jade tiles slick and shining under the rain. Lian pauses at a hidden gate, her fan snapping open to check for guards, and you slip through into a corridor lined with blood-red curtains, the air thick with the scent of polished wood and lingering incense. The chamber's revelations weigh heavy. May's dragon tattoo, a burning secret that could expose the traitor and official who sold her out for power. Lian unrolls the scroll, her voice steady as she recites a poem coded to sway a sympathetic ally, a eunuch in Wu's court. The words weave through the air, each line a dagger aimed at the heart of the plot. A tidbit absurd emerges, some courtesans faked sneezes to pass notes. They're a chew, a cover for dropping scrolls into waiting hands. You chuckle softly, the irony bubbling imagine war. Women codebreakers using coughs to transmit messages, their subtlety a weapon in plain sight. Your pulse races, the corridor's damp walls closing in, the rain's distant patter a rhythm that builds excitement. The eunuch appears from the shadows, his robe whispering as he approaches, his eyes sharp under a powdered brow. Lian hands him the scroll, her FIPA note humming low as a seal of trust. He reads, his face paling, the jade seal in his pocket glinting like fate's stamp. The multi-twist unfolds. The traitor isn't just an official but Wu's own advisor, using May as leverage to blackmail the Empress, his plot rooted in jealousy of her power. The eunuch nods, swayed by Lian's verse, and promises to expose him. You feel the empowerment swell, your fear mutating into a thrill, the corridor's torchlight brightening as if hope ignites the flames. May's hand tightens on yours, her tattoo a symbol of reclaiming her birthright. The historical uncertainty lingers. Did such spies like Lian stabilize Wu's rule, or did their actions fracture it further, like Tosuitu survivors turning testimony into triumph? These women wield words as weapons. You smirk at the clever commentary Wu's thrown, built on secrets, now crumbles under poetry's weight. What code would you craft to turn betrayal into victory, and who would you trust to deliver it? The corridor echoes with your footsteps, the rain's murmur filtering through cracks, slowing the pace as adrenaline ebbs into empowerment. The eunuch leads you to a hidden alcove, its walls etched with ancient verses, the air cool and still. Lian's pipa note fades, but its echo lingers, a thread of resilience. May whispers her story, the sad element unfolding, abandoned as a child due to Wu's paranoia, raised in brothels where her dragon mark was hidden under paste. The empathy surges, your heart aching for her, the alcove's dim light casting her face in soft shadows. A shocking twist hits the traitor knows May's location, his spies closing in. The eunuch stamps the jade seal on a forged decree, his hand steady, and hands it to Lian, an underdog win that could protect them all. Your breath catches, the sensory immersion peaking as the alcove's incense softens, no longer choking but calming. Zoom out, and Chang'an sprawls like a dragon awakening, its river a vein of untapped power flowing toward the palace. The eunuch vanishes into the palace depths, his robe swishing like a promise kept. Lian rolls the scroll, her fan snapping shut, and you feel the excitement peak, empowerment washing over you like the rain outside. May smiles faintly, her bruise less stark in the light, and you reflect on the irony a hidden daughter, once a pawn, now a catalyst for change. The historical debate echoes Wu's paranoia, a double-edged sword, cutting enemies but wounding her own. Like modern gig workers unionizing against bosses, these courtesans hack the system with subtlety. You nod, the clever commentary resonating, the empathy deepening as the alcove's walls seem less confining. The rain eases, the corridor's air lightening, the pace slowing for a moment of reflection. Lian hums her pipa note, a motif that seals the victory, and May shares a fragment of her poem, her voice gaining strength. The tidbit absurd courtesans once hid seals in their lutes, stamping decrees with a strum. The modern parallel like Fu codebreakers decoding enigma, Their ingenuity turned tides. The uncertainty adds depth. Did Wu encourage such spies, or was she their unwitting beneficiary? You reflect, the alcove's lantern stabilizing, its glow mutating from fear to hope. What victory have you claimed from the shadows, and how does it taste in the light? The group moves on, the corridor winding deeper, the rain's rhythm a soothing backdrop. The jade seal's weight in Leon's pocket a reminder of the win, but the empathy for May lingers, her story a balm for your fear. A strange image appears in a puddle, a coded poem, ink running but words intact. Its chill a mood shift hinting at the consequences to come. The eunuch's promise echoes in your mind as you emerge from the alcove, the palace's outer gardens unfolding like a whispered secret. The rain has stopped, leaving the air fresh, the incense's scent now a gentle veil rather than a chokehold. Leon's peeper note hums softly, tying the moment to the night's earlier chaos, and you feel the empowerment settle, a warm glow against the city's chill. May's steps lighten, her dragon tattoo hidden once more under a sleeve, but its presence a symbol of reclaimed power. The garden's paths wind through blooming lotuses, their petals unfurling like forgotten poems, the filth from the alleys now distant, mutated into a symbol of endurance. You pause by a fountain, its water trickling like tears, and Leon shares the decree's details, a forged order exposing the traitor, stamped with the jade seal that could forge empires or shatter them. The underdog win feels tangible, the excitement peaking as you imagine the advisor's fall, his plots unraveling like a poorly woven silk. The historical uncertainty adds layers. Wu's court, a nest of spies, where courtesans like Lian might have been the true architects of stability, like Sosmitu warriors, their voices, once silenced, now echo through halls of power. You smirk at the irony at Empress's throne saved by the women she overlooked. What underdog story from your life mirrors this, and how did it change you? The garden's lanterns flicker, their glow mutating into a steady warmth. Hope's flame kindled in the night. May touches the fountain's edge, her reflection rippling, and you feel the empathy deepen. Her journey from pawn to player a testament to resilience. The sensory immersion eases, the air cooler but comforting, the rain's aftermath a cleanse. Leon's fan opens, its snap a signal of safety, and she hums the piper note again, the motif weaving empowerment through the gardens. The pace slows, the garden's paths inviting reflection, the city's pulse calming as dawn hints on the horizon. A sad element lingers May's lost childhood, stolen by Wu's ambition, but the win offers a sliver of redemption. The group sits by the fountain, the waters trickle a lullaby, the excitement fading into a peaceful glow. Leon's scroll rests in her lap, the jade seals imprint a mark of triumph. You reflect on the clever commentary poetry, a courtesan's tool, turning betrayal into justice. The modern parallel resonates like gig economy rebels hacking apps for fair pay. These women bend the rules to win. The debate echoes Wu's paranoia, a catalyst for such ingenuity. Or a curse, you nod. The empathy for Leon and May a quiet fire. The garden's lotuses blooming like hope renewed. The fountain's water sparkles, the lantern's light stabilizing, and you feel the mood shift. Empowerment settling into a reflective calm. A strange image appears in the water's reflection, a coded poem, its ink steady, words intact, its chill a hint of the consequences to come, but the wind's warmth lingers. The coded poem's ink runs in the puddle, its words intact but fading as you step from the gardens into Chang'an's dawnlit streets, the fog lifting like a veil on the Empire's wounds. Lian's piper note echoes softly, a recurring motif that now carries the weight of victory's cost, guiding you and May through the maze of waking alleys. The cobbles dry under the rising sun, but the filth, spilled blood and torn ribbons clings to your boots like a grim reminder. The torchlight from the palace fades, its glow mutating into morning's harsh light, as if despair reveals itself in the day's clarity. Your coat's hemp itches less now, the rain's chill easing, but the sensory struggle lingers, the air thick with the metallic tang of aftermath. May walks beside you, her dragon tattoo hidden once more, her steps lighter but shadowed by the executions to come. Lian leads, her scroll safe, but her eyes betray the shock of what's unfolding, the traitor exposed. but the court's wrath dividing the courtesans like a blade through silk. You reach a public square, the palace's shadow looming, where crowds gather under hanging lanterns that sway like nooses in the breeze. The air hums with murmurs, the scent of incense mixing with the coppery bite of fear. Executions begin at dawn. The eunuchs decree, sparking a purge, traitors dragged to the platform, their silk robes torn, their pleas lost in the wind. Leon pulls you to the edge, her fan folded tight, and you watch as courtesans are called, some rewarded with coins for loyalty, others condemned for whispers too loud. A woman with jade eyes, from the tea house, steps forward, her head high, but the axe falls, her body crumpling like a discarded scroll. The horror lightens with sarcasm. They call it justice. Leon mutters, but it's just a show for Wu's throne. You smirk, the irony sharp empress of women, yet her court spills their blood. The shocking element hits survivors powder their faces with rice-lead makeup, poisoning themselves for a fashionable pallor, a tidbit absurd as Instagram filters masking deeper scars. Your pulse quickens, the square's filth now a pool of reflections, each puddle mirroring the swaying noose. The crowd gasps, tearful faces pressing forward, their whispers a tide of grief. May clutches your arm, her bruise stark in the light, and you feel the empathy surge, the executions dividing sisters who once shared secrets. A rewarded courtesan pockets her coins, her eyes averted from the fallen, the dividers sharp as the axe. Scholars debate whether Wu's purges stabilized her rule or sowed seeds of rebellion. The uncertainty a shadow over the square. It's like post-Me Too resilience. Survivors rebuilding amid backlash, their triumphs bittersweet. You reflect. The morning light harsh on the platform, the hanging lanterns flickering like dying hopes. What price would you pay for loyalty's reward, and how heavy the coin in your pocket? The executions continue, the axe falling with a thud that echoes in your chest, the air thick with the scent of blood and incense. Zoom out, and Chang'an sprawls like a wounded beast, its river a vein of spilled stories flowing toward oblivion. Lian's peeper note hums low, a motif tying the horror to survival, as she pulls May away from the square. You follow, the tearful crowd sobs fading, but the image lingers a swaying noose, empty now, but promising more. The sensory struggle peaks, the filth underfoot mutating into a symbol of lost lives, each step a crunch on broken dreams. May wipes her eyes, her voice breaking as she whispers of a sister lost to the blade, the sad element deepening the empathy. The modern parallel strikes like Depression-era workers facing union busts. These women endure, their bonds fractured but enduring. The square recedes, the palace's walls distant, and you enter a quiet lane, the air lighter with morning's promise. Leon pauses by a stall, buying rice cakes with her reward coin, her fan snapping open in thanks. The vendor's grin, crooked but genuine, offers a moment of normalcy, the steam from the cakes cutting through the blood's tang. You bite into one, the sweetness a balm, but the bitterness of victory lingers on your tongue. The historical debate echoes Wu's paranoia, a catalyst for such divides, rewarding some while executing others. The irony amuses an empress's justice, as fair as a rigged game. You smirk, the clever commentary easing the shock, but empathy for the fallen swells, their tearful faces etched in your mind. The lane wins, the sun rising higher, the pace slowing as the adrenaline ebbs. Leon's peeper note fades, but its echo lingers, a thread of resilience. May shares a memory of her mother's court, the jade throne now a symbol of lost innocence. The tidbit absurd survivors used rice-lead makeup not just for beauty, but to mimic ghosts, scaring off spies. The modern comparison like gig workers masking exhaustion with filters. These women hide their pain. The uncertainty adds depth. Did Wu's rewards build loyalty or breed resentment? You reflect, the lane's filth now a path to reflection. The morning light mutating despair into quiet strength. The group rests by a fountain. The waters trickle a soothing rhythm, the execution's horror fading into memory. Leon hums her peeper note, tying the divide to hope, and May smiles faintly. Her bruise less prominent, the empathy deepens, the square's tearful crowd a reminder of the cost. A shocking, sad element, a condemned courtesan's last words, a poem cursing Wu's throne. The irony stings power's reward. Paid in blood, you nod, the clever commentary resonating, the fountain's water washing away the night's grime. The fountain's trickle slows, the sun warming the air, inviting a mood shift to peace. The lanterns from the square, now distant, sway like forgotten warnings. A strange image appears in the water, a noose's reflection, swaying still, its chill hinting at the reflections yet to come. The execution's echo fades as you leave the fountain, Chang'an streets bustling with morning life. The filth mutates. Now, a badge of survival. Each speck a story endured. Lian's fan opens, snapping in rhythm with her steps. The peeper notes silent but felt. May walks taller, her dragon tattoo a secret strength. The historical debate lingers Wu's purges, a necessary evil or a fatal flaw, the modern parallel post-Me Too, where justice divides but heals. You reflect, the empathy a quiet fire, the city's pulse calming, the streets widen, vendors calling, the air fresh with baked rice scent. Lian buys more cakes, sharing with a street child. Her coin a small act of kindness, the irony reward from blood, spent on hope. You smile, the clever commentary lightening the load, the tearful square now a distant memory. The pace slows, the sun's warmth a balm, inviting sleep's gentle pull. What divide have you bridged, and how has it shaped your empathy? The vendor's calls fade, the streets emptying as noon approaches, the fog lifts fully, the torchlight's memory a faint glow, a strange image, a hanging lantern, unlit, swaying in the breeze. Its chill a mood shift to the reflections ahead. The noose's reflection sways gently in the puddle, its chill a lingering whisper as you step away from the square. The execution's horror fading into Chang'an's thinning fog. The air hangs heavy with the scent of wet rope and tears. The cobbles slick with filth, blood and mud that clings to your boots like a persistent guilt. The lantern's light mutates, its glow now a faint echo, as if despair lingers in the shadows of victory. Lian's peeper note hums low, a recurring motif that ties the night's triumph to its cost, guiding you and May through the thinning mist. May walks close, her arm linked with yours, her dragon tattoo hidden but its presence a burning reminder. The air tastes bitter, victory's flavour soured by the impending fallout, a sensory struggle that twists your gut like a knot of regret. Your coat's hemp scratches your skin, the rain's remnants dripping from eaves like unshed tears. You move toward a secluded courtyard, the palace's walls distant but their weight crushing, the lanterns hanging from poles like eyes judging the divided fates. The execution's aftermath divides the courtesans, some rewarded with court positions, their poetry now sung in Wu's halls, but others face the noose, their bodies swaying in the wind. A group of women huddle near a platform, their fans folded, faces pale under rice-led makeup that poisons them slowly. A tidbit absurd as it is tragic, like post-Me Too survivors, wearing masks of strength while battling invisible scars. One courtesan, her eyes hollow, whispers of rewards a few promoted to palace poets, their verses a shield. But the horror unfolds on the platform, a line of traitors, including courtesans who sided with the advisor, facing the rope. The crowd murmurs, tearful and tense, the air thick with the scent of wet wood and fear sweat. You watch, your heart pounding, the lantern's light casting long shadows that twist like Wu's jade throne, distant yet crushing. The first execution snaps the rope taut, the body swaying like a pendulum. The crowd's gasp, a collective chill that raises goosebumps on your skin. Lian pulls you back, her hand cold on your arm, as May averts her eyes, her bruise standing out stark in the light. The historical debate rages in your mind. Did Wu's paranoia save the empire by rooting out dissent, or did it sow more seeds of rebellion? The uncertainty adds to the horror, the platform's creak echoing like a final breath. Like modern whistleblowers facing backlash after exposing corruption, these women pay the price for truth. You smirk at the irony. Wu's victory, stamped with the jade seal, comes at the cost of her own shadows. What consequence have you faced for a win, and was it worth the swing of the noose? The square fills with more spectators, their whispers a tide of empathy and fear, the lanterns hanging like eyes judging the scene. A courtesan beside you weeps, her rice-led makeup cracking, revealing skin blotched from the poisonous slow death for beauty's sake. The executions continue, bodies dropping with a thud that echoes in your chest, the horror light but persistent, the air growing heavier with the scent of rope and rain. Leon's peeper note hums softly, a motif of resilience amid the chaos, and she whispers of the rewards of few women freed, their poetry now a shield rather than a weapon. May clutches your hand, her tattoo a hidden fire, and you feel the empathy surge, her story a mirror of the divided fates below. The crowd's tears mix with the rain, a sensory peak that blurs your vision, the bitter taste of victory now a lump in your throat. Zoom out, and Chang'an sprawls like a beast licking its wounds, its river a vein of blood-red reflections from the lanterns. The platform empties, the bodies carted away, but the swaying nooses remain, a grim reminder. Lian leads you from the square, her fan snapping shut as a signal to move on, the fog closing in like a shroud. The air cools, the incense's scent fading, but the horror lingers, the execution's a scar on the night. A shocking, sad element emerges. One executed courtesan was Lian's sister. Her loyalty twisted by the advisor's promises, the empathy deepens, your fear mutating into a quiet ache, the city's pulse slowing as dawn hints on the horizon. Like post-Me Too resilience, these women rise from the ashes, their stories a testament to survival. You reflect, the lantern's light stabilizing, its glow now a faint hope. The fog thins, the square's echoes fading, the pace slowing for reflection. Lian hums her peeper note, a thread of empowerment, and May shares a memory of her mother's throne, now a throne of blood. The historical tidbit some survivors powdered their faces with rice lead, poisoning themselves for a fashionable pallor that masked their scars. The modern parallel like gig workers enduring health risks for pay. These women pay with their bodies. The debate lingers, Wu's consequences, a double-edged sword, dividing but unifying the shadows. You nod, the emotional shift from shock to reflection, the empathy a balm. The square empties, the lanterns dimming, the rain's patter a soothing rhythm. A strange image appears in a puddle and nooses reflection, swaying gently, its chill a mood shift hinting at the reflections to come. The platform's creak lingers in your ears as you leave the square behind, the fog wrapping around you like a shroud, the air still heavy with the scent of rope and rain. Lian's peeper note fades, but its echo persists, a motif of resilience that ties the horror to the hope. May's hand slips from yours, her steps faltering as she processes the divided fate's rewards for some, death for others. The cobbles grow less slick, the filth mutating into a symbol of endurance, each speck a reminder of the cost paid. You walk in silence, the palace's walls receding, their jade tiles now a distant glint like a forgotten dream. The lantern's light from the square dims, its glow a faint memory, as if the city itself exhales the night's violence. Your coat dries slowly, the hemp less scratching, the sensory struggle easing into a quiet ache. A secluded temple appears, its gates creaking open like a reluctant confession, the air inside thick with incense and steam from laundry vats. The reform temples, Wu's salvation for fallen women, force labour under nuns' watchful eyes, the air heavy with the scent of boiling water and soap. Courtesans, once free in the streets, now scrub linens, their fans replaced with brushes, their poetry whispered in secret songs. A nun approaches, her robe crisp, her eyes sharp as she. The noose's reflection fades as the puddle evaporates under the morning sun, but its chill lingers in your bones as you follow Lian and May away from the square. The execution's horror a scar on the dawn. The air lightens, the fog thinning to reveal Chang'an's sprawl, but the filth on the cobble's mud and blood-streaked petals clings like a reminder of divided fates. The lantern's glow mutates into daybreak's pale light, as if hope flickers in the shadows of despair. Leon's pipa note hums softly, a recurring motif that now carries resilience, guiding you to a hidden attic above a temple, the stairs creaking like old bones. May walks close, her dragon tattoo hidden under her sleeve, her steps steady but her eyes shadowed with the weight of survival. The air smells of damp straw and faint incense, A sensory struggle that numbs your feet on the cold stone, each step a quiet defiance. You climb into the attic, the space cramped with straw pallets scattered like forgotten dreams, the air thick with the scent of unwashed linen and moonlight filtering through cracks in the roof. Leon gathers a small group of courtesans, their faces pale but eyes bright with determination, and begins teaching poetry in hiding, her voice a whisper that bonds them like threads in a tapestry. The words flow, each line a tool for resilience, coded verses that could rebuild what the executions tore apart. A tidbit absurd emerges. Some courtesans sewed feathers into their aprons for swift hands' luck, believing the bird's gift would speed their escape from fate. You chuckle softly. The irony bubbling. Imagine colonial women in America sewing charms into their quilts for luck against British raids, their subtlety a survival art. Your feet numb on the cold stone, the sensory immersion deepening the ache, but the empathy surges as you see these women once divided, now united in their quiet strength. The attic's moonlight cracks paint silver lines on the pallets, zoom out, and Chang'an awakens like a giant stirring from a nightmare, its river a vein of renewal. May sits beside you, her bruise fading in the light, and she shares a poem fragment, her voice gaining power as Leon guides her. The group bonds, hands linking as they recite, the peeper note humming like a heartbeat. The historical debate whispers, did Wu's reforms offer true salvation or merely control? Her temples a haven or a prison? The uncertainty adds layers, the attic's walls seeming less confining as the poetry flows. Like colonial women's underground networks, smuggling messages against oppression, these courtesans forge their own path. You smirk at the clever commentary. Wu's power, meant to lift, often chains, but poetry breaks free. What hidden strength have you tapped in dark times, and how has it bonded you to others? The straw pallets rustle as more women join, their aprons feather-stuffed for luck, the air warming with shared breath. Leon's teaching turns to coded verses, each line a shield against betrayal's sting. May recites, her dragon tattoo a hidden fire, and you feel the hope bloom, the numbing cold in your feet easing into a quiet resolve. The empathy deepens, your fear from the executions mutating into a warm solidarity, the attic's cracks letting in moonlight like cracks in fate. A sad element emerges. One woman, her sister executed, weeps but finds solace in the words. The modern parallel strikes like gig workers sharing stories online for support. These women build networks in the shadows. The debate lingers. Wu's consequences, dividing but ultimately unifying through shared pain. You reflect, the peeper note a motif of hope, the emotional shift from despair to empowerment. The attic's moonlight strengthens, the group's voices harmonizing like a harmonium's chords, the sensory struggle fading as warmth spreads. Leon hums, her fan folded, and the women laugh softly at the absurdity of their luck charms. The irony amuses. Feathers for speed in a world that clips wings. You join the recitation, the words are balm, the cold stone now a foundation rather than a burden. The empathy surges, the group's bond a light in the dark, the attic's cracks now portals to freedom. A shocking element. May's poem reveals a lost sibling, executed in the square, her grief a catalyst for strength. The historical tidbit. Some temples hid harmoniums, their chords masking secret meetings. The modern comparison. Like underground railroads in America, these women navigate escape routes with song. The uncertainty adds depth. Wu's reforms, a double-edged sword, controlling but sparking rebellion. The pace slows, the moonlight's glow stabilizing, the group's energy shifting to reflection. Leon's peeper note fades, but its echo persists, a thread of resilience. May smiles faintly, her tattoo a symbol of reclaimed identity, and you feel the hope deepen, the numbing cold a distant memory. The attic's palette seems softer, the air lighter, the emotional mood shifting to a peaceful empathy. A strange image appears in a moonlight. Crack a feather, floating down, its lightness a chill hint of the Qian Kuang yet to test. The group disperses slightly, some lying on pallets, the straw rustling like whispers. Leon teaches a final verse, her voice a lullaby, the harmonium's imagined chords a soothing hum. The sensory immersion eases, the cold stone warming under your body, the empathy a blanket against the night. The irony fades, replaced by a quiet commentary on survival's beauty. You reflect on the bond, the women's strength a mirror to your own hidden reserves. What group has bonded you through shared trials, and how has it changed your song? The moonlight cracks widen, the attic's roof creaking like a sigh, the pace inviting sleep's gentle pull. May rests her head, her breathing steady, and you feel the emotional shift, hope blooming like lotuses in the dawn. The peeper note echoes faintly, a motif of enduring light, the group's unity a testament to Kien Kwong, a sad but hopeful element Lian's lost sister, honoured in a poem, her memory a feather in their aprons. The historical debate softens Wu's world, harsh but forging unbreakable bonds. The modern parallel like colonial networks, these women weave hope from despair. The uncertainty becomes a comfort. The attic's cracks now stars in the night. The night deepens, the moonlight's glow mutating into a soft warmth, the group's whispers fading into silence. The straw pallets cradle you, the cold stone a distant ache, the sensory struggle resolved into peace. The empathy settles, a quiet fire, the mood shifting to a reflective calm, a strange image in the moonlight, a feather, stuck in a crack, its quill pointing to the dawn, its chill a mood shift hinting at the lessons to come. The feather stuck in the crack points to the dawn, its quill a silent guide as you step from the attic into Chang'an's awakening streets. The moonlight fading into a grey light, the air carries a faint chill, the fog lifting slowly, revealing the city's sprawl like a tapestry woven with threads of secrets and survival. The cobbles are damp, the filth straw bits and ink stains from the attic clinging to your boots like remnants of a dream. The lantern's glow from the temple below mutates into morning's pale wash, as if contemplation replaces the night's despair. Lian's peeper note hums softly in your memory, a recurring motif that now echoes the lessons learned, tying the group's bond to the broader tapestry of history. Mi walks beside you, her dragon tattoo hidden but its presence a quiet fire, her steps lighter as the city stirs. The air tastes of fading incense, evoking nostalgia for the night's chaos, a sensory struggle that tugs at your heart like a loose thread. You wander toward a quiet riverbank, the palace's walls distant silhouettes. The river's murmur a soothing rhythm that slows the pace. The courtesan's historical impact hits you like a gentle wave despite oppression. Their poetry and secrets shaped Tang's fate, whispering changes that echoed through Wu's reign. Lian pauses by a stall, her fan folded, and shares a sarcastic nod to Wu's legacy, the Empress who ruled men, but couldn't rule her own shadows. The irony amuses, a clever commentary on power's blind spots. A tidbit absurd emerges: stew in the temples was so thin, it doubled as collar starch. Stiffening linens while starving souls, a desperate ingenuity, like Depression-era cooks stretching meals with water. You smirk, the empathy deepening for these women, their resilience alight in the fog. The river's water laps at the bank, its cool touch on your fingers a sensory immersion that evokes the night's struggles. The incense's scent now a nostalgic whisper. The riverbank stretches, lotuses blooming in the dawn light, their petals unfurling like faded poetry scrolls. Zoom out, and Chang'an awakens like a giant from slumber, its river a vein of renewal carrying away the night's filth. May picks a lotus, her smile final and faint, her bruise fading in the light. The empathy surges, your fear from the executions mutating into a quiet contemplation, the city's pulse slowing as you reflect on the lessons. Women reshaping history despite odds, their verses a testament to power in the powerless. The modern parallel strikes like women in colonial America, weaving quilts with hidden maps for escape. These courtesans stitched hope into poetry. The historical debate lingers Wu's world, harsh but forging unbreakable spirits. You nod, the emotional shift from crisis to reflection, the air lighter as the fog lifts. What secrets would you sing to survive, and how would they echo through time? The bank's grass is damp, the air fresh with morning dew, the sensory struggle easing into a peaceful ache. Lian hums her peeper note, a motif of enduring light, and the group shares stories, their voices a chorus of resilience. A sad element one woman's lost sister, honoured in a verse, her memory a feather in their hearts. The irony deepens Wu's legacy, a throne of jade built on broken backs. The tidbit absurd temple stew, thin as water, used to starch collars for nuns' robes, a hustle that turned hunger into utility. You sit, the wooden bench hard but grounding, and reflect on the bond, the women's strength a mirror to your own hidden reserves. The modern comparison gig workers sharing hacks online, turning scarcity into strength. The uncertainty adds depth, woos reforms, a double-edged sword, cutting chains but forging new ones. The sun rises higher, the fog fully lifted, the cities sprawl vibrant with life, the lotuses sway, their petals like scrolls of forgotten poems. The visual a poetic reminder of history's layers. May tosses the lotus into the river, its bloom floating away like a final smile. The empathy blooms, your inner crisis fading into a contemplative peace, the lessons settling like sediment in the water. The modern parallel strikes again like women in colonial America, their quilts a map to freedom, these courtesans' poetry a path through oppression. The historical debate echoes Wu's world, a forge of strength from suffering. You ponder the question, what secrets would you sing, and who would hear their echo? The river's murmur swells, a soothing backdrop, the sensory immersion shifting to comfort. The bank's grass dries, the lotus is fully open, the visual a poetic end to the night. The empathy settles, the emotional mood shifting to a reflective calm. The strange feather vanishes in the current, its quill pointing to unknown horizons, its chill a mood shift hinting at the final lessons to come. As the sun climbs, the riverbank comes alive with vendors setting up stalls, their voices a gentle hum blending with the water's flow. Leon sits beside you, her pipa resting on her lap. The note she hums a soft reminder of the group's unity. The air warms, the incense's scent now a faint memory. The sensory struggle resolved into a peaceful embrace. May explores the bank, her fingers trailing through the grass, her smile tentative but genuine. The lessons of the night settle in. The courtesans impact a ripple that outlasts the execution's horror. The historical tidbit, some women hid feathers in their aprons for luck, believing they brought swift hands and lighter hearts, a charm as absurd as it is endearing. Like Depression-era charms pinned to dresses for hope. You smile, the irony like Wu's power, mighty but blind, while these women found magic in feathers. The empathy deepens, your contemplation a quiet fire, the city's awakening a backdrop for reflection. The stalls open, merchants calling out wares, the city's pulse quickening but the pace here slow, inviting deeper thought. A vendor offers tea, its steam rising like ghosts of the night, and you sip, the bitterness a reminder of Beiju's burn. The modern parallel hits women reshaping narratives, their stories enduring like gig workers' shared tales. The debate softens Wu's consequences, a catalyst for change. You reflect on the question, the river's murmur a lullaby, the emotional mood shifting to peace. What secrets would you sing to survive? The sun reaches its peak, the riverbank bustling but your spot quiet. The lotus is a poetic visual of unfolding truths. The empathy a blanket, the lessons a gentle wave. The strange feather's image fades, the mood shifting to the peace of closure. The vendor's calls fade as you walk further along the bank, the river's curve revealing a quiet cove where lotuses cluster like forgotten verses. Leon pauses, her fan opening to catch the breeze, and shares a final tidbit. Temple birds, trained to mask giggles, became symbols of hidden joy. The absurdity amuses, the irony a light touch woos reforms, meant to silence, sparked secret laughter. The empathy swells, the lessons a river flowing through you, the sensory immersion a calm embrace. The modern comparison women in colonial networks, their quilts a canvas for hope, these courtesans' feathers a talisman for endurance. The historical debate quiets Wu's legacy, a forge of spirits unbroken. You ponder, the sun's warmth a balm, the emotional mood a reflective peace. The cove's lotuses sway, the water's reflection a mirror of the night's trials, the visual a poetic close. The empathy settles, the strange feathers chill gone, the mood shifting to the final piece. The strange image of the noose's reflection sways gently in your mind as you step away from the square, the execution's horror fading into the fog like a bad dream dissolving at dawn. The air lightens, the scent of wet rope and tears giving way to the fresh breath of morning. but the chill remains, a psychological echo that tugs at your coat like an unseen hand. The cobbles under your boots are still slick with filth, mud, and blood-streaked petals, but the lantern's glow from the distant platform mutates into the soft light of day, as if peace finally claims the city's shadows. Leon's peeper note hums in your memory, a recurring motif that now fades into a gentle lull, tying the night's lessons to the dawn's quiet. May walks beside you, her dragon tattoo hidden, her steps steady as she exhales the night's weight, her final smile a faint curve that speaks of closure. The air tastes clean, the bitterness of victory and loss washing away with the rain, a sensory immersion that soothes the ache in your chest. You wander toward the riverbank, the palace's walls now distant silhouettes against the rising sun. The rivers murmur a soothing rhythm that slows your pulse. The lessons of the night settle in like sediment in the water, the courtesan's resilience a ripple that outlasts the execution's horror. Leon pauses by a lotus bloom, her fan folded, and shares a sarcastic nod to Wu's legacy, the Empress who ruled the stars but couldn't see the shadows at her feet. The irony amuses, a clever commentary on power's blind spots that lightens the mood. A tidbit absurd emerges: some courtesans use temple stew, thin as water, to starch their collars, turning hunger into a tool for dignity, a desperate hustle. Like Depression-era women turning scraps into meals that sustained families through storms. You smirk. The empathy deepening for these women, their strength a quiet fire in the dawn light. The river's water laps at the bank, its cool touch on your fingers a sensory immersion that evokes the night's struggles. The incense's scent now a nostalgic whisper fading into peace. The riverbank stretches, lotuses blooming in the dawn light, their petals unfurling like faded poetry scrolls left to the wind. Zoom out, and Chang'an awakens like a giant from slumber, its river a vein of renewal carrying away the night's filth. The city's sprawl a tapestry of light and shadow where lessons echo. May picks a lotus, her smile final and faint, her bruise fading in the light as she tosses it into the current, watching it float away like a released secret. The empathy surges, your fear from the executions mutating into a quiet contemplation, the city's pulse slowing as you reflect on the lessons. Women reshaping history despite odds, their verses a testament to power in the powerless, their resilience a light that outshines Wu's throne. The modern parallel strikes like women in colonial America, weaving quilts with hidden maps for escape. These courtesans stitched hope into poetry that survived empires. The historical debate lingers Wu's world, harsh but forging unbreakable spirits. Her reforms a double-edged sword that cut chains but left scars. You nod, the emotional shift from crisis to reflection. The air lighter as the fog lifts completely, the sun's warmth a balm on your skin. What secrets would you sing to survive, and how would they echo through your own time? The bank's grass is damp but warming, the air fresh with morning dew, the sensory struggle easing into a peaceful ache that invites rest. Leon hums her peeper note one last time, a motif of enduring light, and the group shares final stories, their voices a chorus of resilience that fades into whispers. A sad element one woman's lost sister, honoured in a verse, her memory a feather in their hearts, floating on the river's current. The irony deepens Wu's legacy, a throne of jade built on broken backs, but the broken ones built something stronger, bonds that time couldn't erode. The tidbit absurd temple stew, thin as water, used to starch collars for nuns' robes, a hustle that turned hunger into utility, like gig workers turning scraps into sustenance. You sit, the wooden bench grounding you, and reflect on the bond, the women's strength a mirror to your own hidden reserves, the empathy a blanket against the morning chill, the modern comparison gig workers sharing hacks online, turning scarcity into strength, their stories a digital poetry of survival. The uncertainty adds depth Wu's reforms, a double-edged sword, cutting chains but forging new ones. Her world a forge of spirits that burned bright. The sun rises higher, the fog fully lifted, the city's sprawl vibrant with life, the lotuses swaying in the breeze like scrolls of forgotten poems carried on the wind. May tosses another lotus into the river, its bloom floating away like a final smile. The visual a poetic reminder of history's layers unfolding and dissolving. The empathy blooms, your inner crisis fading into a contemplative peace. The lesson settling like sediment in the water, clear and profound. The modern parallel strikes again like women in colonial America. Their quilts are mapped to freedom. These courtesans' poetry a path through oppression that led to unexpected liberation. The historical debate echoes softly Wu's world, a forge of strength from suffering. Her reforms a veil that both hid and revealed the truth. You ponder the question once more, what secrets would you sing, and who would hear their echo in the quiet of your own life? The river's murmur swells, a soothing backdrop, the sensory immersion shifting to comfort, the sun's rays warming your face like a gentle hand. The bank's grass dries under the sun, the lotuses fully open, the visual a poetic end to the night's turmoil. Their petals a symbol of unfolding truths that bloom and fade. The empathy settles, the emotional mood shifting to a reflective calm that invites sleep's gentle pull. The strange feather vanishes in the current, its quill pointing to unknown horizons, its chill a mood shift hinting at the final lessons to come. But the peace holds. As the sun climbs, the riverbank comes alive with vendors setting up stalls, their voices a gentle hum blending with the water's flow, the city's pulse quickening, but your spot remains quiet. A pocket of reflection. Lian sits beside you, her peeper resting on her lap. The note she hums a soft reminder of the group's unity, the air warming with the day's promise. May explores the bank, her fingers trailing through the grass, her smile tentative but genuine. The lessons sinking in like the sun's rays. The courtesans impact a ripple that outlasts the execution's horror. Their poetry a legacy that whispers through time. The historical tidbit some women hid feathers in their aprons for luck, believing they brought swift hands and lighter hearts a charm as absurd as it is endearing, like Depression-era charms pinned to dresses for hope against despair. You smile, the irony like Wu's power, mighty but blind. While these women found magic in feathers and verses, the empathy deepens, your contemplation a quiet fire, the city's awakening a backdrop for the lessons to unfold further. The stalls open, merchants calling out wares, the city's pulse quickening but the pace here slow, inviting deeper thought amid the bustle. A vendor offers tea, its steam rising like ghosts of the night, and you sip, the bitterness a reminder of Beiju's burn but now mellowed into comfort. The modern parallel hits women reshaping narratives, their stories enduring like gig workers' shared tales of survival in a harsh world. The debate softens Wu's consequences, a catalyst for change that rippled through generations. You reflect on the question, the river's murmur a lullaby, the emotional mood shifting to peace that soothes the soul. What secrets would you sing to survive? The sun reaches its peak, the riverbank bustling but your spot quiet. The lotuses a poetic visual of unfolding truths that bloom and fade with the light. The empathy a blanket, the lessons a gentle wave that washes away the night's residue. The strange feather's image fades, the mood shifting to the peace of closure that invites rest. The vendor's calls fade as you walk further along the bank, the river's curve revealing a quiet cove where lotuses cluster like forgotten verses floating on the water. Lian pauses, her fan opening to catch the breeze, and shares a final tidbit. Temple birds, trained to mask giggles, became symbols of hidden joy in the midst of reform's control. The absurdity amuses, the irony a light touch Wu's reforms, meant to silence, sparked secret laughter that echoed through the halls. The empathy swells, the lessons a river flowing through you, the sensory immersion, a calm embrace that eases the last of the night's ache. The modern comparison women in colonial networks, their quilts a canvas for hope. These courtesans' feathers a talisman for endurance that survived the storms. The historical debate quiets Wu's legacy, a forge of spirits unbroken by the fire. You ponder, the sun's warmth a balm, the emotional mood a reflective peace that settles like dew on the grass. The cove's lotuses sway, the water's reflection a mirror of the night's trials, the visual a poetic close to the journey. Their petals a symbol of blooming truths. The empathy settles, the strange feathers chill gone, the mood shifting to the final piece that wraps you like a warm blanket. The cove quiets, the lotuses closing slightly as the sun dips, the river's murmur fading into a whisper that invites sleep. Lian's peeper note echoes one last time, the motif a gentle farewell, the group's stories a legacy that endures. The air cools, the sensory immersion a peaceful sigh, the lessons a quiet fire that warms without burning. The modern parallel women reshaping their worlds, their secrets a song that sings through time. The historical debate resolves into acceptance Wu's world, a chapter in a larger story of resilience. You reflect. The emotional mood a calm that leads to rest. The city's secrets now a distant hum. The lotuses bob, the river's surface smooth, the visual a poetic end, the empathy a final embrace. The strange image of the feather dissolves, the mood shifting to the peace of sleep.